everybody. This is Billy Clay, representing for the 2009. Go Obama. All right, so away. And this is the Artivist Presents We All Be News and Radio for the New World Order. Can you dig it, baby? All right. So give me some fries with that horn dog.
And that was Reverend Wright. Nina Simone with Mississippi Goddamn. And this is your host for the Empowerment Segment. This is R2C2H2, the Artivist. And welcome for another great, edutaining, and enlightening rendition, as they said, of the Artivist Presents We All Be Radio. This is most definitely a very important show. We're talking about a very important topic and some very wonderful people. It's called All Eyes Are Still on Mississippi, Free the Scott Sisters. Now, this is a very incredible story. I know myself, I can't do it justice. This is why we got some very important people joining us today to enlighten us all about what's going on in Mississippi. Mississippi recently tried to get an $80 million bill to build a museum, which paid homage to the civil rights struggle, I guess, in black history of that state. But the thing about it is, there's still a lot of things going on. There's still a lot of chapters that are being written as we speak, with the Scott sisters standing like a sore thumb, about what's going on. As they say, the more things change, the more they really stay the same. So it's very important that we have this dialogue, we take advantage of these opportunities to get together to break bread in the food for thought sense and really get another understanding, another dimension of what's going down. Because although we're talking about Mississippi, Malcolm X said it best. He said anything south of Canada is Mississippi. So we're living in a big plantation state. You heard the term prison state. It's really a big plantation state. But we're going to touch on some of this very important stuff. And feel free to join in the conversation. Area code 646-652-4593. Once again, that's area code 646-652-4593. If you're scared on the air, we got the chat room open up. I'll be reading the chat room from time to time for questions to ask our very distinguished guests. Or you can hit us up on email at r2c2h2@gmail.com. Once again, it's alphabet R, numeric 2, alphabet C, numeric 2, alphabet H, numeric 2 @gmail.com. Without further ado, let's hit the airways. We're going to bring on Sister Evelyn Rasco. Are you there today, Sister?
Yes.
Welcome. It is an honor to have you on our show. This beautiful, strong woman, a true freedom fighter. The best in the business, I say. Pound for pound, she's one of the great ones. Really a gospel. And this is Sister Evelyn Rasco, the very dignified, honorable, persistent, and insistent mother of the wonderful Scott sisters. How you doing tonight, ma'am?
All right. How are you?
All right. I feel better now. I feel very blessed and highly favored to have you on the air with us today. And we got another call out the great state of Mississippi. In spite of, the song Mississippi, goddamn, there's still a lot of great people in that state. Area code 662, you on the air. 846.
Me?
You there?
Hey, Ron, this is Margaret.
Hey, Miss Block, how you feel about the show? I'm glad you called. Sister Margaret Block out of the great town of Cleveland. How you doing?
Yeah,
by the way of Oliver,
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Good to hear you.
I just called to listen in tonight.
Oh, that's cool, but this is Sister Evelyn Rasco, Sister Margaret. Sister Evelyn, this woman is a phenomenal freedom fighter. She's one of the Mississippi Civil Rights freedom fighters, worked with SNCC, Stokely Carmichael, Bertie Kegler was her mentor, one of the greatest. And it's an honor to have her on. It's very much a blessing to have this true artist on the airways to share some light about what's going down in other parts of the state. I'd just like to introduce both of y'all to each other, Sister Evelyn and Sister Margaret.
Okay. Hello.
All right, that's good. You got family.
Yeah.
And we got another caller, 901, you on the air? It's 901-212? I guess they're just missing it right now. But Sister Evelyn, let's get to it. And what's this case about with your daughters? Can you tell us a little bit of history about it?
Yes, well, my daughters were charged with an armed robbery and were given 2 life sentences each for armed robbery that's supposed to net at $9, $10, or $11. They have been in prison now. October the 7th will be 15 years for this robbery, where no one was killed, no one was hurt, no one was took to the hospital. And it was in open court that the alleged victims that supposed to have been robbed testified that my daughters never robbed them, never took anything from them, never held a weapon on them or anything. And due to the injustice of the state of Mississippi, my daughters have suffered all these years for something that they didn't even have a part in. 3 young men initially were supposed to have did the robbing and said my daughters told them to do it. So really what it all boils down, my daughter's case is basically because they said they told someone to do something. And for that, my daughters are dying in a prison cell. My daughter Jamie is not in good health. Gladys is not in good health. So I just, I really feel like a great injustice has been did to my children. And everyone that heard of this case go on the internet and read, the court transcripts where the actual victims, as I said, that supposed to got robbed, testified in open court that my girls never took nothing from them. So how can you receive a double life sentence when you never touched anyone, you never held a weapon, you never did anything? And it just have caused us to live in a nightmare that something like this could happen in the United States of America, and people could, set things in places and make the wheel go the way they want it to go for justice. It's just ridiculous. It really is. And I just feel like I can't stop fighting until they're free. And I'm not going to stop fighting until they're free. Because this is the greatest injustice that I'm pretty sure that you and everybody listening to this show have heard.
Yeah, I know I've been getting calls and emails, and people have been asking me on Facebook and on the phone, is this really real? Is this a joke run? I'm saying, I'm the guy that brought you the tanks and the people hiding Cottonfield story. And, these stories are hard to believe in itself, but the fact that these women have been in jail for 15 years in October for armed robbery of $11, and the victim, not only the victim didn't say that, the victim said they didn't do it, but also the guys who did it, the Patrick men, they actually confessed, right, and signed an affidavit saying they did it, right?
Mm-hmm. Because they told them, they coerced them boys. Them boys had been in jail 10 months. They told them that if they signed a statement saying that Jamie and Gladys was involved with the robbery, that they would let them out of jail. And them boys signed the statement, and they did not let them out of jail. So those boys were tricked and coerced into signing those statements. But one of the boys, Christopher Patrick, the older boy, he later on signed an affidavit, a sworn affidavit, that Jamie and Gladys had nothing to do with the robbery whatsoever. And if anybody, to read the court transcript, will see that the victim said that the older guy, Chris, held the gun on him. So, he wrote an affidavit that Jamie and Gladys had nothing to do with it. Jamie and Gladys wasn't even there when it happened. They had left walking home. So they weren't even there. They heard commotion, and they didn't go back to see what was going on. They kept walking. So anybody read the court transcript could see these girls just was actually set up for this, and it was all did because of hate for the Rasco family, my husband's family. Because one of my husband's nephew had turned an FBI informer against a high white sheriff there in that town that were taking payoffs from black club owners. And he turned the high sheriff in. And when he did that, and the high sheriff went to prison and died shortly after that, then, the white people in the town, they just hate the Rasco name. And it just, inflicted on my daughters because who their father was. And, and that's what really the whole thing is about, hatred, racism, all mixed together. And having the power to put in place what they want to and make it work when nobody can stop them. And they just, made it work. And it's not what you said a while ago about people don't believe it. Believe me, I have been told this for 14 years. They have never in their life heard of nothing like this. My mother went to her grave saying she don't see how they could have got away with doing this to those girls, but they did. And so now I just been pleading for help, begging for help, you know, and thank God people have just surrounded me with help. I have people all overseas that's contacting me and offering to help me in any way that they can. So my cry for help after all these years are finally being answered. And I'd like to, you know, thank everybody that even took an interest in the case and tried to help with the case. Because it's really an unjust case, and my girls need to come home because they should have never been there in the first place.
Now,
that's
the sheriff
just incredible.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Sister Margaret.
I just said that's incredible. I never heard of the case. What town are they in? Were they in?
They're in Forest, Mississippi, in Scott County.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Oh, wow. What do you know about this, Sister Margaret? Why you said it like that? What's the meaning?
Because Forest, Mississippi was named after Nathan Bedford Forrest, and they still got that old mentality from the days of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Those white, they still have those days in Forest, Mississippi. I have a good friend that lives there.
Mm-hmm.
That's an attorney, and I can't figure out what in the world, why is Connie still living there, Constant?
Slaughter.
Yeah.
I didn't heard of her. Yeah. Constant Slaughter, I didn't heard of her. Yeah.
But, you know, Mississippi, I mean, Tennessee, all of them about the same, but that's just amazing to me. I had never heard of this case.
Well, because for one thing, you know, when you poor and you don't have money, you don't have a lot of tools to fight with. But by me being poor and not having any money, that just gave me more determination to free my daughters any way I could. And I started using the most powerful weapon that I have seen in my lifetime, and that's the computer.
Mm-hmm. Right. You're right. The technology is wonderful, as the word of Sister Margaret. It is wonderful. And also, I know Forrest, I know being in Memphis, now, John Nathan Bedford Forrest, he's buried in Memphis, prominently in a park named after him, prominent slave trader, plantation on all that great stuff, as they say. But the fact that, you know, that happened in Forrest County, and he was the first Grand Wizard of the KKK, not only a Civil War general of renown, but also the first Grand Wizard. Let you know what time it is. It is very fascinating. We are still, I mean, it is Confederacy time.
You know, if it's fascinating to you, Ronald, just imagine what it is for me and these 9 children. These 9 children, Jamie and Gladys have 5 children together. Then they have 4 grandchildren across these 14 years. And I am 63 years old. I have raised 6 children of my own. Now I got another litter of 9 children, you know, that I'm almost solely responsible for. You know, just because the system decided that they wanted, just because Forest, Mississippi, Scott County decided that they want to do this great injustice to my girls. You know, like I said, hatred, racism, all mixed together. And then just opportunities to being able to do what you want to in that town and get away with it.
Right.
To any black you want to. I feel sorry for blacks in that town because they have lived under the white man laws, and the white man is the law. The white man, they make their own laws in that town. I have never in my life seen a place where people make their own laws, put them in place, and nobody never looks at them. Nobody never, you know, say anything. I had never in my life saw nothing like Scott County, Mississippi. I had never. They do what they want to, whoever they want to, and how they want to, and they get away with it. But you know what? They will not get away with what they did to my girls.
Right.
Because I will fight until every breath leaves out of my body. I will not stop until my daughters walk through my door. Because if they go by the correct justice system and the laws that it's supposed to be, they should never be there. They should never be there. And I will fight until they come home.
I think they're right.
If there's anything that I can do to help you, please feel free to call me.
Yes, email me. Anything that you could do to help me, I would appreciate it. Because I'm not turning down any help at all. Because, like I say, my daughter Jamie has got sick. She is not in good health. And if my daughter don't come up out of that cell, she's going to die there. So I need all the help I could get. I'm not turning anyone away. Anyone that feel like they want to help me, please help me. I am begging for help.
Have you tried to get in touch with the Innocence Project out of Northwestern?
Margaret, we have did stuff for 14 years. It is not too much that haven't been did on Jamie and Gladys' case. And every door that was tried to be opened was always shut in our face. It's a lady that had been working on the case for over 5 years. And believe me, this lady had did everything on the case. And she accomplished nothing. She accomplished nothing. The only thing that will free my daughters is an outcry from the public. An outcry from all of these activists. You know, all of the law students, everybody connected with law, to just bring this to the forefront and let people see what's going on. Everybody don't believe it. Read the court transcript. And you will see everything that I'm saying is true.
That's what Evelyn, I wanted to ask you, like, the person who put your daughter in jail wasn't the sheriff that ended up dying after being in jail. It was actually his deputy sheriff who was black, right?
Yes, yes. Deputy Marvin Williams was black, but he was, you know, he was the white folks. I just put it like that. He was black in skin, but that was it. That was it. You know, he worked for them. He did what they said, and whatever they wanted him to do, that's what he did. And then him and my husband had a little personal thing between them two, I think. Something that went back to school days, you know, that I knew nothing about.
Right.
Yes, but he was black. Yes, he was.
And now, Carroll County, correct? That's a dry county, right?
Scott County is a dry county, yes.
All right,
yes.
so like what in the club situation, was the sheriff allowing people to sell liquor or something like that in the clubs? Was it the setup?
Well, what it was, the black people ran cafes like the clubs, and they would pay the sheriff off in order to tell them when the higher people were coming, like, you know, revenue men or whatever was coming. And by that they would warn the nightclub owners to clean up because they coming. And so one of my husband's nephews got tired of paying. And he decided to turn FBI informer. And that's what he did. And as a result, it was an investigation, and the high sheriff went to prison. And shortly, from what I understand, it wasn't too long after he came out of prison that he died. I don't know how long it was, but from what I understand, it wasn't long.
But the sheriff deputy, the black guy, Williams, he took his place as sheriff, right?
No, he had worked under this sheriff that died. He had worked under him at one point. Yeah, he had worked under Glenn Warren. That was the sheriff's name. He had worked under Glenn Warren, and he was associated with him personally.
Okay. So I guess you were collecting up, or you were trying to just continue where the other guy left off as far as taking up collections, right?
Excuse me?
He was continuing where the other guy left off instead of him.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't know if he was continuing. I don't know how that was going. But this was the cause of him wanting to set my daughters up. Now, I don't know if he continued after that. I don't really know anything about that. All I know, you know, is what happened, the reason why he did what he did.
Now, your husband, nephew, though, he was in the witness protection program for a number of years, right?
Yes.
And now he's back in force?
Oh, yes. He's right there in Scott County. Yes.
So he's not afraid?
No, he's not afraid. No.
Okay.
No. Nope, he's not afraid, believe me.
And I was like, you know, I just think it's fascinating because I remember not too long ago when Bill Clinton, before he left office, he pardoned his sister out of Virginia, who was, I guess her boyfriend was selling drugs, and somehow she got caught up in that, and they gave her a long sentence term. And he commuted the sentence. I just keep on thinking to myself, your daughters were still in jail. And I haven't heard of that case, the Scott sisters, up until in the past year, actually. But this woman had all the media exposure, had the press writing about it, the injustice of it all, had 60 Minutes and shows like that covering her plight. So I hear this is like a really like phenomenal story because I look at Mississippi. Mississippi is like the land of extremes to me because here it is. This state got more elected black officials than any state in the union. More than you look at what's going on with the Just Us system, not justice, but the Just Us system, and how we really just devouring our own.
That is what they're doing. And I don't understand it because, you know, all of the stuff we went to for us to get the little crumbs that we are receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And we got people that's running for office, they unqualified, and they don't care about nothing. They just see a dollar sign. And they don't care about nobody or nothing but their own immediate people that they're surrounded by.
That's right.
Now, what we got to do is we've got to organize, because we aren't even trying to keep organized and make people know that this kind of stuff is still going on today. Look like to me everybody think everything is all right, and it's all, we living in the land of milk and honey. And that's not the case at all. Ron, you mentioned we got more elected officials, black elected officials, than any state in the union. But take a look at the ones that's elected and how they are inactive, they don't care, and they complacent. I think they still under the thumbs of the white structure. White structure. I'm sure they are. And we have got to start organizing. We got to band together, like Ms. Rasco's daughters. I had never heard of the case, but I suggested that we try to get the Innocence Project out of Northwestern University. And also, I know a couple of sisters that works at Northeastern, but at Northeastern too, because my dear friend Margaret Burnham works at Northeastern, but out of Syracuse. And we need to try to hook up with some of these good attorneys that's really not practicing law for their own. They really are concerned about cases like this.
Right.
And the Innocence Project have freed a lot of people.
Well, we had the Innocence Project interested in the case. I don't know if they're still working on it or not. We had Loyola University in Chicago. Because I started sending mail to them. That was one of the first law universities I started sending mail to years, and when they first, about 2 or 3 years after they went to prison. And the lady that was working on the case, Nancy Lockhart, she heard about the case while she was a student there at the university. So, you know, they know about the case. They've been knowing for, I'd say, 10 years or longer. You know, so, and then there's a lot of law universities that we have wrote and have contacted, and, you know, nobody just never seemed like just got interested in it. Not just really got interested in it until the last 5 years. Seemed like people really started getting interested in it then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Northwestern, not Loyola.
Oh, okay.
Northwestern is in Evanston, Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I done sent them information, too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I have. Margaret, I have sent it to almost every law school halfway around this United States.
Yeah.
And I have people that live up near Evanston. So, yes, I have sent it to them. People, they just ain't respond. You know, people just don't respond to it. You know, but now, like I said, they begin to respond. A lot of people begin to respond.
Oh,
and it has been a lot of breakthrough in the cases. You know, a lot of things that I can't discuss right now. But right now, it's a good breakthrough that's on the case that I heard yesterday, you know, from my daughter. So I can't, you know, tell what it is, but it is a breakthrough coming on the case. It definitely is.
Good.
You know, but I don't want to stop trying because I'm not going to take anything for granted and stop at one thing. I'm going to keep going, like I said, until they walk through my door. I am not going to stop fighting, and with whoever, you know, could help me, I need their help. You know, anybody that's an activist that wants true justice, I think if you don't want to help on this case, then you're not for true justice. Because this is inhuman. This is inhuman.
It sure
when you take 2 girls and lock them up in a cell where they ain't even touched nobody, ain't killed nobody, ain't hurt nobody, and didn't even have no criminal backgrounds. My girls did not have any criminal backgrounds whatsoever. A first-time offense. And they got a double life sentence, no chance for parole for 20 years. They don't even come up for parole for 20 years.
Murderers don't even get that kind of sentence.
Thank you. Thank you. And then, you know, their kids are suffering so much because of this, because they look at TV and they see people that then brutally murdered children, that then did all kind of things. And they'll give them 10 years or 15 years, you know, if they get set, some of them. You know, and these kids don't understand how this could happen to their mothers. I told them, because for one thing, our unjust justice system, our justice system just do not want to hear the truth unless the public is behind it. If you don't have power behind you, then the truth will never be heard. It will never be heard. And I have learned that fighting across the years on Jamie and Gladys' case. But you know what? I'm the type, I don't stop. I don't stop. Right. I keep on, and I'm going to keep on.
That's right.
And I'm not turning down anybody's help. I don't care what color you are. I am not turning down no help. Because for me to turn down help is to just keep sitting here waiting on my girls to die in that cell. And I refuse to do it. I refuse. Because they were gave a great injustice. I mean the greatest, like I said, that anybody ever heard of. People don't even believe it because it's really unbelievable.
It is. It truly is.
But it just shows you what happened in a small town in Forest, Mississippi. It just shows you what happened. It shows you what they could get away with, what they could do. Judge Marcus Gordon sit on that bench and play God. He plays God with black people's lives. He sit there and look up under them glasses, and he don't care about throwing blacks in the prison. There's so many people in that prison at the hand of that man that got life sentence. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And he studies, sits there and do it. And he gets away with it.
And Sister Evelyn, now can you tell us some history about Brother Marcus Gordon? Because we were talking about how murderers get away with murder or get away with murder. Who is this Judge Marcus Gordon? What is his history exactly?
Marcus Gordon is the judge that was on the Keelan's man case, the man that killed those civil rights workers back in 1964. He gave that man 60 years for 3 murders when he sit there and wouldn't overturn my daughter's double life sentence. And matter of fact, Marcus Gordon instructed the jury that if he found Jamie and Gladys guilty, to give them a life sentence. So he instructed the jury to give them life, and he gave a man 60 years for killing 3 people. But that was because he was white. And that was because he was a friend of Marcus Gordon, from what I heard. He married Marcus Gordon married his mother, he married their mother, something like that. I'm not sure, but it was one of the ways. But they were personal friends. And if Marcus Gordon knew that the public wasn't watching him, he wouldn't have gave him 60 years. So that's Marcus Gordon's history. Marcus Gordon has a history of giving blacks excessive time. He have a history of doing that. He have a history of being somehow affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan. And that's what people always said in that town, that he was affiliated with those people. And he was a personal friend of this Keelan man. He was an associate of this Keelan man that killed the civil rights workers. So his history is throwing blacks in the prison where they won't never come up out of there. That's his history. His history is for you to die there. That's his history, for black people to die there.
Is he still sitting on the bench?
Yeah, and it's so many young black women there that he gave so much time that they shouldn't even got the time, just like Jamie and Gladys.
Now, no, Jamie and Gladys were not allowed to testify on their own behalf, correct?
No, because their lawyers advised them not to. Furnace Alexander and Gail, I think her name was Grinshaw, or Gail Pearson, or something like that. I kind of forgot. But they told Jamie and Gladys not to testify on their own behalf. And I didn't understand that either. But then later on, I heard another story about it that I won't get into. But I heard another story about those 2 lawyers. You know, so Jamie and Gladys, they weren't given a fair trial nowhere down the line, even all the way up to the appellate court. everything legally for them ran out. So every door was shut in their face that everybody tried, to help them. Like our lawyer, Mr. Lumumba. Mr. Lumumba did all he could. But when he walked into that appeal court, and I was with him when he first got on the case, when we walked into that appeal court, when I looked around, I knew Mr. Lumumba didn't stand a chance. Because soon as Mr. Lumumba tried to, make a motion or say something, they would jump right in and object to him almost before he got the words out of his mouth. And I saw that in that appeal court that day. I stood there, I said to myself, Mr. Lumumba don't stand a chance up in here. Because they got their decision made before he walked through the door. It was set up to go down like it did. That their appeal was denied. It was set up to go down like that. And Mr. Lumumba, I really believe he did all legally that he could do. But it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. Because the setup was in motion, and he couldn't stop the setup. Don't care what he did. So it's just Mississippi and their injustice. That's all what it come down to. Mississippi and their injustice and being able to do what they want to do and get away with it.
I mean, I think it's fascinating that you just told us that here it is, they ran out all their appeals without any type of publicity or notice in the Mississippi media or even the national media. I think about Troy Davis' case as we're talking, and Troy Davis has been on death row for almost 20 years, and here it is, we know who he is. We know about his case. We know about the efforts made to, get his case known. We know about the Supreme Court stay of execution. I'm just saying, why is it so hard to see? Here's this case. It's hard to believe. Why is it that we don't want to believe that people don't really care? I don't want to believe that. I just think people ain't informed because they're so dependent on the media to inform them. But when the media fails, so we can't get with this health care thing because the media, we're talking about temper tantrums and people interrupting people's award acceptance speech. We're not talking about real issues. The Scott sisters should be on, not John and Kate. Who cares about John and Kate? We should be talking about the Scott sisters.
And
that's a real family,
and all of that garbage.
Right.
But see, the media is designed to dummy everybody down. That's what they do. The case we were working on with over there in Tallahatchie County. You notice the media blocked it out.
Right.
Just totally blocked it out. And that's what the media, that's what they do. And that's why I tell people, don't believe what you see on that TV. You better go and do some research because the media is very biased. Like I explained that this racist man, Murdoch, the Murdoch group took over all of the media. So you see how BET Nightly News, Rupert Murdoch. You see how BET Nightly News just faded. And, I mean, just stuff they just don't want you to know. And they want to keep all of this stuff within the confines of Mississippi. And they don't want the outside world to know anything.
Right.
And I'm blaming the media as much as I'm blaming the judges and the prosecuting attorneys, because they all act like they working hand in hand with each other.
Oh, yes. Is as my daughter Jamie said, that's a clique. That's what Jamie say. That's a clique. And when you in the clique, then the clique did, what they want to happen. It's a clique. And everybody stays in that clique to make money or keep something going, for them on their side. It's nothing but a clique. And most of the people in Scott County are in that clique. They are in the clique. So by that way, they do what they want and get away with it. And that's why people, a lot of people never heard of this case because, no one's been fighting until the last 5 years but me. Just me by myself and with no resources and, just sending letters and, doing whatever I can. Getting on the computer, emailing, just whatever I could. Sometimes I sit up all night emailing. I couldn't sleep because my nerves would be so bad. So I just sit up all night just emailing people. Just selecting people's names, just email them. That's what I have been doing for almost 15 years. Until finally I got through. I have got through, like I said, to a lot of people now. I got some powerful sisters that's helping me on this case now. Like Sister Nettie Rab and Empress and Jamal Shepherd. So I got some strong, black, powerful women that are helping me now. That, does everything for me. Letters, emails, everything. All I do is go on the email, go on the computer, and read what they do. So I got some strong black sisters that are determined to help me, you know, and they're not going to stop until they help me, because they know this is just a great injustice, and they realize and they see it, and they want to help. They really want to get something did, and like I say, they are really fighting for me, you know, to help me. So, and then I got some lady in the United Kingdom that's helping me. That's a paralegal. You know, I got a lot of strong women that have came in to help me. And so I'm really, you know, I'm getting help. But I need more. Because with Mississippi, you need an army. If you don't have an army, you're not going to get nothing did. So Jamie and Gladys needs an army to fight the state of Mississippi. Because that's the only thing going to bring them home.
They sure do.
You definitely got some powerful prayers. You definitely got some powerful prayers. And on that note, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break and come back to the show. We got a guest. Try to get some more people coming in. But we're going to play, because we all need a little hope in our lives on We All Be Radio. We'll be right back, everybody. And that was the Purple Lounge with HOPE, Hope. And this is the Artivist. And we are on We All Be Radio Live. We got a very special guest joining this very important conversation about the Scott sisters and about the Just Us system in the good old state of Mississippi. This is the Honorable, the great one, Brother Chokwe Lumumba. Brother Chokwe Lumumba, are you there?
Yes, I am, brother. How you doing?
Oh, fine. It's an honor to have you on, sir. I mean, your reputation, like I said, precedes you. You are great. Because, you know, like it's like, when we think about black lawyers, the last one that was great that we could think of was Johnny Cochran. But there's so many of y'all out there operating, not getting the shine y'all deserve. You know, y'all not chasing the green. Y'all are true advocates for the community. And I just appreciate your service. And also, we're going to have Sister Margaret Block. You there?
I'm here.
And we
Hi,
got
Chokwe.
How you doing, sister? You doing all right?
Good. Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
And Sister Evelyn, are you there?
Yes.
All right, we got your friend, the Honorable Chokwe Lumumba, the attorney for the Scott sisters. I'd like to ask you, sir, about the appeal. What was the process of that? I mean, how was that? It's like there was some difficulties getting that appeal in, the last request.
Well, there's actually been a couple of different things that have been done in the nature of appeal, if I recall correctly. The first thing was the actual appeal. And that's where Ms. Rasco and the Scott sisters first hired me. I wasn't there for the trial. Mm-hmm. And we came in to do the appeal, and all you could do at the appeal is really argue what's in the record. In other words, what actually happened during the trial. There was a lot of blatant hearsay and disregard for the rules of law that went on during the course of the trial. Judge Gordon, I can't think of his first name right now, but Judge Gordon was the judge at that time. And he allowed this. And so that was basically the arguments we made on appeal. And I think there were also some questions about identification, whether they went through the appropriate procedures or the taking of statements. So that's what we raised on the first appeal. And then after the first appeal, then we came back and did what we call a post-conviction motion. Post-conviction motion can have to do with newly discovered evidence. The newly discovered evidence at that time was the fact that some of the young men who had been forced to testify against the Scott sisters had retracted their testimony. I think that one of the young men had actually testified, and one of them had not testified at all, if I remember correctly. And so we had gotten statements from the young men involved saying that the Scott sisters actually didn't have anything to do with a crime. Contrary to what the prosecution had persuaded them to say by offering them deals. So that was brought back in the motion in the post-conviction motion, and the courts, of course, rejected all of that. We have a very difficult court here in Mississippi, and actually, to be honest with you, appellate courts across the country are, for the most part, very difficult. There are maybe one or two rare exceptions, but you basically have white men who sit as judges in appellate courts, and they rule through their view or their prism understanding of what society is about. And society to them is pretty much blacks who are criminalized and then other people. So that was the problem that we had. We were unable to convince any of the judges in the Mississippi Supreme Court that the Scott sisters had been given an unfair trial, which clearly they were. So that was essentially what is the last part of the case that actually I participated in, and I've been following it. And I know that it seems like people have picked up and begun to do a good job of spreading the word on the Scott sisters, and that's excellent. And hopefully that it can spread wider and stronger, and then we can come back maybe on another post-conviction or on a federal application and get some relief, right?
Hey, Brother Lumumba, what would you have done differently in the original trial? Would you have allowed the Scott sisters to testify on their behalf? I mean, what would have been done differently?
Let me say two things. I hesitate to answer that for two reasons. Because I'm not. The original trial is a little bit of a blur because we handled this so long ago. Mm-hmm. But let me say a couple of things that did leave an impression on my mind. I think that it was a case where Judge Marcus Gordon, and that's who Marcus Gordon is, he bullied the lawyer, and basically bullied the process as he normally does. Years later, after the Scott sisters case, Marcus Gordon was basically trying to do the same thing with my client, bully us through trial. Mm-hmm. And that's when we had a confrontation. And because of that, I told him that he was handling the trial in a biased way. And we had an exchange of words which wound up with the Supreme Court 4 years after the encounter suspending me from the bar for a year and a half, saying that I spoke back. Basically, the charge as I see it was talking back to the white man. But but essentially that was his attitude. But because I did stand up to him at that time, when I go into Marcus Gordon's court nowadays, I tend to get a lot more respect than the other lawyers who come through there. Basically he sees the lawyers and the clients as a herd of people who he can disregard and disrespect. And a lot of them lawyers come in there and walk in fear of him. Mm-hmm. Well, that wasn't something that I was going to do. I've been blessed to have experiences in life which don't allow me to be afraid in situations like that. I've been in, much more tighter situations than just facing off with a judge.
Right.
But that was one of the things. I thought that the lawyer was bullied in that trial and pushed around quite a bit, and the same thing was true with the process. Now, and the other thing is that, and Mrs. Rasco probably knows this better than me, and the girls attempted to explain it to me. Of course, I wasn't at the first trial. Is that apparently there was some underlying resentment toward the Rasco or the family, the Scott family, and that contributed to the verdict because the jury was vicious. Really, there's no way in the world that jury should have found the girls guilty. And even if they conceivably found them guilty, there's no way in the world they should have gave them the sentence they gave them. The sentence that the jury gave them was actually a sentence which only the jury could give. They gave them, life in prison for a robbery charge where somebody allegedly lost, I think it was an amount of $20 or something like that, and nobody got hurt. I think one man claimed he got hit in the head or something like that. So, and it was pretty clear that the men in this case that allegedly got robbed were the aggressors themselves toward the Scott sisters, and those young men were just coming to their aid. So so I have to assume, Brother Ron, that probably what happened is the judge also bullied the jury. I'm just reading pages of the transcript, so you can't always see all that. Right. But I think that the jury must have been bullied. They must have been afraid of the judge, and I could believe that because I've been in the courtroom and seen him cross the boundaries in terms of abusing people's rights before. When me and him got into it, it was at the end of a process where he had continually brought young men into court, mostly black, had him plead guilty in front of the jurors. Now, these were jurors that were about to try somebody else's trial. Now, you imagine that you're on trial for your life or for whatever, and then he marches people in and they plead guilty in front of the jury that's about to try you. That's a statement to the jury that everybody that comes through there is guilty, and that they should find him guilty. He also brought clients in there to be tried with their prison clothes on. He cut off, he demanded that even though people were being charged for very serious crimes in the proceeding that I was involved in, he cut off your opening statement, reduced it to a very short period of time, cut off your voir dire to the jury. So with those kinds of situations going on, it's very unfair, and if you don't have real courageous jurors who stand up to that kind of stuff, then they will succumb. They will take on the judge's attitude, try to please the judge, and I would suspect that's what happened. So if you want to know something that I would have done different, I would have made sure that judge wasn't going to, without any challenge from me, use that jury and bully that jury in that same manner, in that same way. So that's something that stands out in my mind in the case. But in terms of specifics and particulars, like I said, it's been a while since I read the case and read the transcript. But those are things I can recall. Right.
Well, Sister Evelyn, do you remember the jury makeup? I'm fascinated about the jury makeup because we are.
From what I understand, it was mostly white, and I think they had one black, one or two alternate jurors, I think. But I'm going to tell you about the jury's verdict. Judge Marcus Gordon instructed the jury that if they found Jamie and Gladys guilty, to give them a life sentence. That was his instructions to the jury. And that's why he gave them 2 life sentences, because it was 2 victims that supposed to have been robbed. But one of the victims came in court in shackles and chains because he was in jail at the time in another county, the Duckworth man, one of the men that's supposed to have been alleged robbed. He was in jail at the time of Jamie and Gladys' court. They brought him back into the court to testify what he said in the court transcript with shackles and chains on. This man had about 3 DUIs, and I don't know what the rest of his criminal record was. But they brought somebody that had been convicted of, DUIs and stuff into the courtroom to testify against Jamie and Gladys. And his testimony to me, it wasn't, anything, because he never said they took anything from him. He never said they robbed him. So, he was just someone bought there because, because his name was in the robbery, to just give a testimony. Because if you read the court transcript, when they asked him, they said, did Jamie and Gladys Scott rob you that evening? He said no. Say, did Jamie and Gladys Scott pull a weapon on you that evening? He said no. Say, did Jamie and Gladys Scott take any money from you that evening? He said no. So, what was the purpose of him testifying? Because he really said nothing actually against Jamie and Gladys. So I didn't understand it. It was just a circus court. That's what it was to me. To me, it was just a circus court. And like Mr. Lumumba said, Marcus Gordon had a reputation for putting fear in people. He had a reputation for people doing whatever he wanted them to do. That was so true about Marcus Gordon. So everything, Mr. Lumumba saying, it's true. That was his personality. He bullied. He bullied, and he did what he wanted to. Like I said, he sit in that chair and looked down upon them glasses, and he played God. He played God. And he had been allowed to get away with it. Still doing it. Still doing it. He haven't stopped. He's still doing it. So he haven't stopped anything that he was doing. So that's all I know, he just, he was a bully judge. And like Mr. Lumumba said, people was afraid of him. They was afraid of him. And that was it.
I'm asking Brother Lumumba or Sister Evelyn, has anybody ever filed any charges against Marcus Gordon?
Well, yes. The lady that was on the case, Nancy Lockhart, she filed a complaint. with, I don't know exactly where, but with whoever you filed a complaint with against the judge, yes, she filed a complaint, and my understanding, she just renewed the complaint from where she had filed it like 4 or 5 years ago. And to my understanding, like I said, she just renewed it a couple of months ago, a complaint against Marcus Gordon. I have filed a complaint against Marcus Gordon on a website that I went on about judges. So I filed a complaint on him too. But that's been about 7 years ago.
Yeah, they have a judicial performance commission, which is supposed to review the complaints against judges, and I'm sure that's probably where it would have been filed about his conduct and his activity. It's hard to get that commission to do anything, of course, against a judge. But and secondly, the longer away from the time of the trial that you file it, the more difficult it becomes. But that's what it is. It's a judicial performance commission. The exact name of it I don't recall right offhand, but it's a committee on judicial performance, which is set up in Mississippi and in most states. Really, supposed to evaluate the conduct of judges. But they're good. That's a good old boy system. I mean, most of them are just like the judge. I mean, they're the same people. So that's you can't really expect a lot out of that. I think, let me say this. Number one is, first of all, I think it's very important for people to write letters and do whatever they can to demand that freedom of Gladys and Jamie, to put pressure on the system to overturn their case. Those things, even when we have thought that it was not of much value before, has sometimes forced judges to change. I mean, Geronimo Pratt is an evidence of that. He stayed in jail for a long time, but because of the persistence of the community in trying to demand his freedom, Johnny Cochran it took 20 years, and we certainly don't want it to take 27 years for the Scott sisters, but essentially he did get out, and then there's some other evidence of that. So I think that's the first thing that's of importance. The second thing is this. Maybe we need to use this case to send a message, to our people. Look, when you come in these courts, you got to stand up. And then one of the ways that you got to stand up is not allow yourself to get in there and get chumped out and run off the jury from the very beginning. Now, Carthage, where this case took place, which is Leake County, has a sizable. No, it wasn't in Carthage. It was in Miss Rasco, Forest, right?
Mississippi,
yeah, Forest, which is Forest, which is what's the name of that county? Scott County. Scott County. Yeah, Scott County. But it's the same thing I was about to say about Carthage or Leake County. The reason I got that confused, Judge Gordon is over 2 or 3 counties, and that's one of those. But as far as Scott County is concerned, we got a significant number of black people in that county, right? Okay. I would suggest, I know it's over 30%. It might be close to 40%, but it's clearly over 30%. And a lot of times we come in the juries. First of all, a lot of times we don't show up, And we got to show up. We got to fight something here. We got to show up. And then the second time when we show up, we got to think of these kids that's on trial as being our kids. And so when white folks start saying that, well, they know and a lot of times in this case there was no white victim involved, but whites tend to easily convict blacks regardless of who's involved. And when white folks who we know are biased start talking about they can be fair and things of that nature, we can't sit up there and tell the judge, well, Judge, I don't think I can sit through this one. I can't be fair, or I can't judge my fellow woman or man. I got a religious beliefs against judging, or some other stuff which is just designed to get us out the door so we won't have to sit on the jury. Right. We got to stand. We got to we got to be as serious about this case as it would be if it was somebody of our own. And that's the only way that we can turn this around, because see, just one juror can stop them from doing that. Do you understand what I'm saying, Brother Ron? Right.
Yeah, I understand.
If one juror says, look, I'm not going for it, This is not guilty, and I'm not changing my mind. And Gordon is one person who will keep talking to you and make you think that you're going to be there forever if you don't change your mind. But he can't keep you there forever, and he won't keep you there forever because his butt wants to go home too, right? Okay. Right. And so the point is that somebody's got to say, no, I'm not moving. I'm staying here. I'm not changing my opinion. And if you do that, then what they're going to have to do is call it a dead heat. And then at least at that point, the Scott sisters won't be convicted. The whites in that county, in these counties where we're talking about, they're counties which are closely associated and close to each other, pretty much walk into court ready to convict the black counties.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's their state of mind. They walk into the courthouse ready to convict, and so we got to walk in the courthouse ready to acquit. And we got to stand up for that. During the 60s and the 70s, and some, at least for a brief period of time, it seems like we had more sense of movement, more sense of loyalty, more sense of sticking together, and that's why you had a series of cases, some of the Black Panther cases and the Angela Davis cases and other cases where we found victories in places where we didn't think we'd get victory, because our people stood up and were counted. Now, and there's another thing, let me just say that. Because of the O.J. Simpson case, white folks are even more dedicated to convicting blacks, okay? I'm talking about the first O.J. Simpson case where he was acquitted.
Yeah.
And their thing is, it was a very discernible, a very noticeable attitude that they have been bringing into the courtroom since the O.J. Simpson case. And so what we have now is that when they come in there, they sometimes feel it is their duty to convict black people, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. And we got to feel it's our duty to send those folks home free. Especially in cases like the Scott sisters, where it was absolutely ridiculous that you convict them. Even what they claimed they did wasn't significant enough for them to get convicted, and certainly wasn't significant enough for them to be sent away for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? So it was absurd. So we got to have some guts and some character. And we got to understand that there's nothing they can do to us if we walk out of there and do the right thing. And if they try to do something to us, then we're going to have to fight that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yes.
I don't think about it. I'm just trying to figure out why is it. Because Brother Moon, I got to go. I'm trying to think about it. Have I ever heard of a case like this?
No.
I go back to the 60s, though. I got to go back like that. And you think about a Clyde Kennard, who tried to get into the law school, and how they framed them up on the little he trying to steal some chicken and end up and that leukemia and stuff. They wouldn't treat him and end up dying of his illness, really of racism. He died of it. And go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Actually, there are in Mississippi in these little counties. You go to Pontotoc. You can go to counties where Judge Gordon is in Newton County, even where he sits as judge. In a lot of these counties, if you don't have two things: A, black people that stand up, and sometimes we're in the minority in some of these counties, in the rare minority, especially someplace like Pontotoc or Tupelo or down on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So there's people getting railroaded in these counties every day. I think the Scott case is special, because in most cases where people get railroaded, they're alleged to have done something which is horrific, you know what I'm saying? Killed somebody or murdered somebody or done something that, and then you hear about it and then you don't spend as much time protesting the fact that the person was railroaded because you figure that the crime was so bad, you know what I'm saying? But in the Scott case, what's different about theirs, not only did they get railroaded, but what they claimed that they did wasn't about anything. It was Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay. So that's why this case, I think, is making a stronger statement to people. And then, of course, the two women. But what this reflects is the changing mode. For many years they've been stuffing men in jail, black men in jail. Disarming the black community of its men. But now it's really seeping through to the women. It's been doing that for quite a while. If you go there to where the Scott sisters are, Rankin County, correction facility, man, you know, Central Mississippi Correctional Facility, whatever they call it, it's pitiful. You know, you got a bunch of women jammed up in there, and that's getting to be true all over the country too. So we really do have to take some stands, and I want people to know that, because I want them to fight for the freedom of the Scott sisters, and I want them, when they walk into court the next time and they're in a case, I want them to see that as the Scott sisters case and to do what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying, right?
Let me ask you, Brother Lumumba, how did you hear about the Scott sister case?
Miss Rasco or somebody from her family must have contacted me.
I did.
I can't. Yeah, right.
I did.
Right now. Yeah, right. And that's essentially what happened. She contacted me, and then I became involved. And I wish I could have been involved actually earlier on at the trial, because there may have been some things that we could have done that, even if we could not walk them, I mean, you know, if we could not get a total acquittal, that we could have at least hung the jury or done some things to make sure that the things that the judge was doing wouldn't be able to get away with it on any course of matter on appeal. But I think that what happened is that, like she said, you know, the lawyers were bullied. And you know, lawyers are taught in law school to be basically kind to the judge and to, you know, be real nice to the judge, and that's going to get you good results. Well, that's not always true. You know, there are sometimes, it's like anything else. If you can go in and work with somebody in a amicable way and get the results that you want, then you should do it. But there are times when you can see from the beginning that this guy is not going to do anything that's going to help you or help your client. He is going hell-bent toward convicting your client. Right. And at that point in time, you got to run some interference. You got to make the black folks on that jury mad, you know, to the point where they feel that they got to stand up and stop this racist thing from going on. You got to tell them that, you know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes we don't do that. I know cases I had in the past where I have to assess that. If I feel I got a bunch of whites on the jury that just ain't going to do right, and that's one of those cases, then I stop talking to them. I talk to the blacks on the jury and work on them, and to the point where they can become stronger and embolden them, so they'll take the position they need to take in the jury room. In fact, you tell them before they go in there, look, this is about everybody making an individual decision. You have a right to stand there on your decision regardless of what anybody says to you. Don't let nobody, including the judge, tell you that you have to change your opinion. And ultimately, they're going to declare a mistrial if you take that position. Don't let them tell you that you can't come out of there without doing that, because it's not true. And don't let nobody tell you. They got a little thing that they read to the jury at times telling them that it's in the best interest of the defendant and the state that they resolve the case and come to agreement. I tell them, I said, no, hey, then can't nobody speak for us. We got one interest in mind, having this lady found not guilty. And if the rest of the jurors aren't willing to do that, then you hold out. We'll try this case 50 times if we have to, but we're not going for that. And so those are some of the things that we have to be really assertive about, and it's not often done by attorneys, and it's not often done when it should be done. Right?
I'm still fascinated. I'm sitting and listening to what you're saying. I think it's very commendable what you're saying. I mean, you operate in hostile territory, and you got a certain level of bravery that a lot of us don't possess, a certain level of courage that a lot of us forgotten about. Or it's the reason why we still, you know, quote unquote free. When we're not really. We are political prisoners. Mm-hmm. We all can be snatched off the street at any given moment, framed for something we didn't do at any given moment. You know, as people listening to this conversation right now, you know, it's not conspiracy theory. I mean, it's actuality. It's the reality.
Sure is.
It's every day. I mean, you know, it's happening, and no, it's not conspiracy theory at all. I mean, you know, in fact, they don't even have to conspire.
Right.
I mean, it's in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's in the culture. If you want to call that a culture, I call it an anti-culture. Right. You know, it's in the racism. You know, it's in there. I mean, every people are raised in this way, and they feel this way when they come into court. And then too many of our people, it's in our makeup unfortunately, to become submissive in these situations.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't want to overstate the case. I mean, there are some of us who don't, but unfortunately, none of those were on the Scott sisters' jury who would stand up. And that actually is an area of the state where, like I say, Gordon tends to have his way. And he means to do that, you know, and we really have to do some things to turn that on its head. We really have to do some things. I got a case up there right now in Newton County where a young man is wrongfully charged with murder. His lawyer walked him into making a confession that he didn't, for something he didn't do. Gordon was going to use the statement as confession in court, alleged confession, even though it was clearly illegal to do so, because it was clear that the statement was taken pursuant to working out a plea, and when the boy decided that he didn't want to do that, the law says you're not supposed to be able to use a statement that's taken in working out a plea. But Gordon just, you know, cut him off, and so with that case is on, you know, he hasn't gone to trial yet, and we've appealed that to the Supreme Court. Fortunately for us and for him, right now the Supreme Court seems to be looking at it. Hopefully what they will do is overturn Gordon's decision to let it in court, so that when they go to court, we won't have that statement, and we'll have a much better chance of winning that case. So, but this is a murder case. This young man has no prior record, just like the Scott sisters, no prior record. So, and that's another thing that I think our people should understand. We're talking about people here that's not no long history of robberies and rapes and, you know, all kinds of antisocial behavior. We're talking about people here who have none of that, you know, clean records, being rammed up the system in a bad way.
I just Evelyn, and hear her talk about she been trying to get people aware of this case for 14 years. And you just read the list of who's who she written to. I'm not gonna call them out by name, but she is a list of people that she written to that when you think about a crisis in our community, they the first one in front of the camera, cheesing and you know photo ops, and then the next day they're gone, the next minute they're gone. Because what bothers me is like our problem with these calls from left cases, like okay, you look at the Agenda 6. I was one of the first people stateside to interview some of the participants, the families, and the lawyers in that case before CNN took it, and A.L.L. and Michael Basin took it. And my thing is, when I talked to some of the people afterwards, like, 3 years later, a lot more things happened on the ground that have not been reported. A lot more consequences and repercussions have happened to black residents and some of the people who are involved in that case that has not been followed up on. My thing is we don't follow through on things. We don't do the things that it takes to take some of these ideas that we have and institutionalize them in a very beneficial way for the people.
Right.
I don't understand. What do you think that? I mean, why? Anybody got an answer for that?
Well, no. I mean, I think it's the same old thing of some people being burned out, some people not having the fortitude to stand up in the first place, and some people being preoccupied with a lot of other things. But let me say this: in this case, and since you and people like you, and through the perseverance of Ms. Rasco, have this moment right now, we should make the most of it. And I think that one of the things that we should do is try to give some kind of major rally or some kind of major event where the Scott sisters case can be promoted, and like you did with the Jenner situation. Ultimately, we had a huge group of people come down there to protest that situation, and I think that would be one of the things that the public can do as the legal people continue to work on the on whatever avenues are left available from a legal level. But I think that the public can get involved. And so maybe that's what we need to do, Ms. Rasco. Maybe that.
But I have someone working on that right now. I have Empress working on it, and that's what she's trying to set up and organize a national rally. So I have someone working on that, and then I have some more people working on some more things that could have a small rally and then the major rally. So I have people working on that. Because like I told you earlier in the show, I got some strong black sisters that are devoted to help me. And they, they contact me to everything they do. They let me know what everything is going on. And they are really working hard to try to assist Jamie and Gladys in every way they can. They have had emails sent to every prison official about Jamie's condition, and so Jamie has got medical attention. She has been moved to the medical building, and she's going to get the medication that she needs, because the medication that she needs for her diabetes, the state won't pay for it. So from my understanding, Jamie will be able to get that medicine that the state won't pay for. And the head doctor of the prison is on Jamie's case now, thanks to all the emails that a lot of my black sisters had their friends sending, and people that's on the committee to free the Scott sisters. They just rammed it with all kind of emails until they really got some response. Right. And so, like I said, Jamie has got medical attention and has been moved to the medical building, where she hadn't had her medication in months because she was thrown in the hole because of a deputy warden setting her up there at the prison. And she was in a restricted area in the gym using the bathroom, where a trustee that had the key to the gym let Jamie in to let her use the bathroom. Then, because the deputy warden had a grudge against Jamie from something that had happened in the prison, she gave Jamie 30 days in the hole. She broke some of the codes of their own prison about how she was supposed to handle that. Because Jamie was supposed to have like a 24-hour investigation, from what I understand, before she was put in the hole. Jamie stayed in the hole 23 days without no medication, no anything. So when she came out the hole, they moved her into a tin building at the end of the prison as a part of her punishment. They took all of her privileges away. They took her right to work. They took her right to go to school. They took everything that Jamie has been working for. They even told her she could not go to church anymore. So they even took her God away from her. So now Jamie is just real depressed over what all they took from her, because she has been very active since she had been there at the prison. So now she's just real depressed because everything they took from her. And I have proof that they discriminated against her in the punishment that they gave her. I have documents that showing that they discriminated against Jamie, because other prisoners have got these same write-ups, or R.I.P, I think they call it, and they did not receive the punishment that Jamie received. And I also have, letters from people at the prison, how good of a model prisoner that Jamie has been for 14 years, and has never got a right. This is her first R.I.P she got in 14 years, and they took everything away from her. They were trying to break her down mentally, where she could go and, I guess, go and commit suicide or, whatever. And I guess they were trying to help her by not giving her medication, because she suffered from high blood pressure and she had diabetes. And she have developed that since she's been in prison these 14 years. So, thanks to people, helping, like I say, some strong sisters that's helping me, they got those emails going, and we got results. So if people just would, send emails or, letters, whatever, results can be got. I have found that out firsthand with, what did happen to Jamie. So now Jamie is doing better. She's getting her medication and everything. But if I hadn't got people to help me to send those emails, Jamie would not have received her medication or anything. And she had passed out at the prison twice because of her blood pressure, where inmates had to help her get up off the ground. Wow. So Jamie had been neglected medically, and then been harassed because of this deputy warden grudge against her. And so, Jamie just had came to the conclusion that she just didn't want to live anymore. She was writing me letters telling me, Mom, I'm tired. I just don't want to live no more. And I talked to her, and I even went there, me and my oldest grandson, Terrance, as soon as she got out the hole. I went there to comfort her, to let her know, that I'm fighting for you all I can, and I won't stop fighting. And all the injustice that I did to you, it will come to the light. And I will make sure of that. So you can receive the justice that you deserve, like all the other inmates in the prison. You know, they didn't do that to them. Why did y'all single Jamie out to treat her like this? A model prisoner. Been a model prisoner for 14 years. You know, so it's just showing that she's been harassed. You know, and it just really upsetting me. But, you know, thank God, like I said, people came in with them emails, and she got medical attention now. So, you know, people can do it. All you got to do is stick together and do it. You know, everybody be persistent. Don't do it today and don't do it tomorrow. You know, that's a lot wrong with people won't stay persistent on what they're doing. You know, only people that's true to fighting for freedom and true activists, then you can't stop them. And like I said, there's some strong black sisters that can't nobody stop as far as Jamie and Gladys' case is concerned. And I really applaud them, and I thank God for bringing them into my life. Because they are people that I just met, you know, over the internet that heard about this case and heard about it through the, you know, radio shows like yours, Ronald, you know, to get help. So I just, you know, thank everybody that's helping. And I just wish more would get aboard and help so they could come home.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you mentioned Empress, and she's a very strong sister and very strong people that she works with, and I think that's a real wonderful find. But just let us know when you're ready to give those events, and we'll make sure we get some people here involved with it too, and maybe we need to give something here. Actually, unlike before, now I'm actually on the city council of Jackson. And maybe what we need to have in City Hall is a forum on Jamie and Gladys, and have you come or have somebody come and help speak on their case and how they're doing, you know.
Well, I'll come if I'm able. I'm not in very good health myself because I have diabetes too and I have arthritis. So I'm not in good shape myself. But if I could walk, I'll come. And so far, I'm still walking. I heard a lot, but I'm walking. So, yes, I'll come to anything and speak to anyone that will help my girls to get up out of that prison. There's nothing I won't do at this point to free them.
Right.
Because, you know, like I said, Jamie's health is not good. I don't know how much more Jamie could take because she has been broke down mentally and physically. So I just don't know how much more the child can take. But, yes, Mr. Lumumba, anything you would, you know, I could come and speak at or whatever that's, you know, going to promote the helping of Jamie and Gladys, I'm for it. I'm for it. If my arthritis act up, I come with a stick. But I will come. As long as I'm able to get there.
Okay, well let's focus on that. We're gonna get something together, okay? And then let me know what the Empress and everybody's doing.
Well, you know, kind of get with Empress because Empress is doing a lot, and she tries to contact me to everything she's doing, but she also, you know, dealing with other people, with law students and different people all around the country because she's trying to form a massive rally, something like Regina 6 was if she can. That's what she's aiming at, and that's what she says she's going to do. And she's planning it for like March 2010. But she's trying to get something going too before that if she can. So, you know, get with Empress and she could, you know, touch bases and, you know, let you know what she's doing.
All right. I will do that for sure. No question. I'm going to do that. And Brother Ron, I think it's good for you to keep spreading the word and see if we get some of the other DJs and radio personalities involved in doing it, because that's one thing that we do listen to is radio and these different programs, you know, like the one that you have on the internet here. So I think that it's important that we get that done, and if we have a rally or something, do it at a time when we can get all this information out. So I think that's what I would encourage. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to get off the line now. I'm getting ready for a trial tomorrow, but I would say that, Ms. Rasco, you have my prayers and my support, and you have my number, hopefully. I'm at 601-353-4455.
Well, you have to email it to me because I don't have a pencil. I'm not right by my desk now, so just email it to me.
Okay, I'll do that, okay?
Okay.
and then what we'll do is see if we can get done right here in Jackson as far as getting some kind of rally or something together. Okay?
Well, just let me know, and like I said, I will be there.
Okay.
As long as I'm able to get there, I will be there.
Chokwe,
all right.
Before you hang up, this Margaret, he hung up.
No, I haven't hung up. I'm still here.
Oh, no, because I had a client. I had told him to call you about what happened to him at in the Bolivar County. He was a guard at the Bolivar County Correctional Center. And he got fired. He got kicked. It's just awful. But I told Robert Earl Brown to call you.
Okay, how long ago was this?
This was about 4 months ago.
Okay.
He got fired, and they had his picture up on the target range shooting. These white cops were shooting at his picture, using it for target practice.
Okay, I don't recall it. I don't think he's called me.
I just caught up with him Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, well, if he calls me, I certainly will sit down with him and we'll see what we can do. Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Do you ever hear from Jolivet?
Jolivet is out of town now. She's in Indiana. I believe. The last I heard. She's in Indiana.
Yeah, I talked to her. She was in Indiana. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I used to hear from her all the time before my wife died, because her and my wife were pretty good friends.
Yeah, but I love your wife.
Yeah, but I haven't heard from her a lot since then. I may have heard from her once or twice, but she's another beautiful sister and a great poet, great poetress.
Yeah, I gotta send you my poetry book.
Okay. All right, then we'll talk to you later. All right, dear. All right, free to land, everybody. Okay.
Yes, sir. God bless.
Thank you.
And Sister Evelyn, is your I was thinking about what Brother Lumumba was saying. I was thinking about what happened several years ago in L.A. when the Bush administration or some people were getting real tough about immigration or illegal aliens, and how everybody basically, like the Hispanic community, got together through their radio DJs, the radio station that they own, to start a movement. And they based it off the civil rights movement of the 60s. And I remember the thing about Dr. King, when he was addressing these radio DJs at this conference in Atlanta. I think it was 1967. He was talking about the importance of the radio DJ during the Montgomery bus boycotts. He said the radio DJ was sending out, signals or codes through the music or through his lingo or his language that he was speaking to tell them how to, plan how to approach, the strategy of it all. And now I'm thinking about, we don't have that. We don't have the black press like we used to have it. We don't have a voice. We don't have yeah, I just think it's a travesty, though. So I think what Tom Joyner was saying a couple months ago about when he was taking out the market in Chicago, he was saying that black radio is dead. And I don't think it's dead. I just think the greed, we got to stop being so greedy. Because really, we should be using all our talents to serve each other. We should be serving people with the talents that we have. That's how you become blessed, I believe, by blessing others.
I do, too. Well, we have got to, like I said, organize, because our trouble is the people that get the lesson that we should, that from the 60s, we were well organized, and they think just because we got the Voting Rights Act passed and the Civil Rights Act passed that everything is okay. And these people don't even have a clue as how to organize and fight for their own rights. And right here in Cleveland, people just coming every other day, look like, with some problem that they having, and I'm telling them, I can tell you what to do, but I'm not going to do it for you.
So you got to do it yourself.
That's right. Especially when they don't support stuff that we're doing. I mean, I'm not in it for money, because if I was, I'd be rich if I could make, as busy as I am. Yeah, but like I said, we got to organize, and I'm going to try to organize the veterans of the civil rights movement to come to Forest, Mississippi when they have a rally.
You know what?
Because we're having a...
Go ahead, Sister Margaret. Go ahead.
No, I said every year in March, we have a big conference from the Mississippi veterans of the civil rights movement. And I think a lot of them should, well, I don't know about them, but I'm sure some of them will come to and join and help organize people to come down to Forest County. Because we have got to do something.
Yeah, and also like the fact that you talk about your friend Robert Earl Brown. There's so many things going on in the state of Mississippi, so nobody's have to be aware of what's going on in their own states and counties. And so, I mean, it's not just Mississippi, but all over the place. Like, we are not aware like we should be, and we're not instilling that awareness in our children. And when I think about children, I hope Sister Evelyn is your grandson, Terrance, is he around?
Yeah, if he ain't went got into bed, let me see, because he's been waiting for a while. And we was talking.
Yeah.
Moan. Where'd he go? Moan. Wait just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. I was just thinking about. The reason why I want to talk to Terrance, because I was thinking about Sister Margaret, how we talk about it got to be an intergenerational movement. That was Brother Terrance.
Hello.
Hello, Brother Terrance. You hear me?
Yes, I hear you. How you doing?
Man, it's an honor, man. I'm going to tell you it's an honor to talk to you, sir. I listened to your interview you did with Pac Minister, PLC Jr.
Yeah.
And I was so blown away with your, you articulate these things, and I'm just honored that, I look at the tree that you come from, and you got a lot of gifts, man. I just want to wish you well on that, but also I'm pulling for your auntie and your mom to get out and to really, y'all become one as a family. But it's like, your passions and your understanding about the whole situation is so strong, man. I just like to commend you on being aware. Also just keeping your mom and auntie out there, keeping the word out about them.
Yeah.
Because it's making a difference. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing these little talk shows with my grandma, you know what I'm saying? Because, shoot, when I get up there, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to just keep it 100, you feel me?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell it how it really is, and we've been working on it for a while, and it's good now that somebody finally looking into it. You know what I'm saying? It's real good that somebody finally looking into it now, because after 15 years, it's a good thing that they actually we getting help now. Because before we weren't getting no kind of help. It was like no one cared about it at all. Mm-hmm. And now we actually got people on it who actually care, or who actually gonna help us and fight with us until the cause is met. And the cause is to get them up out of that cell.
Right.
Well, I'm just happy that everybody just helping us out and just looking into it. And even the ones that didn't look into it before, now they looking into it. I'm just like, in my mind, I say what took them so long, but I can't complain because I'm glad they're here now.
Yeah, well, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really know about it because my grandma used to have us take flyers and stuff to school 6-7 years ago. She'll throw them in our book bag and say, get them to your teacher when you get to school. And we used to take them to school, and the teachers, they would say, we don't believe something like this, you know what I'm saying, could really happen. That's why I really think most people didn't really look into it, because they probably thought it was like a gimmick or, you know what I'm saying, a little scam or something. But it is very true. Like, once you read into it and look it up and get really into it, you will see that all this is really, really true.
Now, and you know what? And people have been writing me and emailing and calling me, and they can't believe it. But I tell people all the time, Mississippi is the land of extremes. And America really, period, is the land of extremes. But I just want to ask you, because I talked to you, you got such a powerful grandma. She got such a powerful spirit and a powerful sense of purpose. I want to ask you from, I guess, like a human point of view, like, like a lot of us take our family for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a mom, I see her all the time, and she's a good person, she's a great woman, she's very, I want to know from a child point of view, what have you missed out on? By not having your mom.
Oh, man.
Where you could, touch her and, y'all can have y'all moments. What have you missed out on?
Oh, man, you don't want me to get into that.
I'll go, you go, man. I just want people to understand.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew my mother, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't know my mother. Like, in my point of view, my mother was always my grandmother. We used to go visit my mother, and I used to know from her telling me that's your mother and what happened to him. I used to know it was my mother. I always love her, and I always will love her. But my grandmother is my mother. My mother is like she feels like a stepmother to me because of what the sister done did to have her away from us for so long.
Right.
That's why I'm hoping that they get out. That way I can actually have my mother here. Because I know my grandmother is tired. You know, I mean, she's 63 years old. She done raised altogether 15 kids. And any woman can do that, that's a wonderful woman.
Sure is.
It really is. That is a wonderful woman. And she's 63 years old, and if you can believe me or not, she moves around like she's 23 years old.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh, 18. You're getting ready to graduate, or have you graduated?
I'm going on PJC.
What is that?
It's Pensacola Junior College.
Oh, great.
That's what you want to do. Yeah, what you want to do?
I'm going right now. I'm going to finish and get my GED, but I'm studying a degree up in carpentry. I was at George Stone. That's a trade. It's a trade school I was going to. I'm gonna go back there and finish my degree in carpentry.
I'm glad. I'm glad you pursuing. Yeah. You know what's sad? I work with the school, so I'm in Memphis. I work with the school system. Our kids are not aware. And we doing our kids such a great disservice. I wish the kids know about the Scott sisters. Like, y'all remember, I'm going to talk to them tomorrow about it, the case. But I'm just saying, we just take so much for granted, man. You know, it's not all the kids' fault, but you was forced to grow up early or something. Like, your childhood, like we talk about Michael Jackson's childhood, your childhood, it seems, in a lot of ways, was taken away from you as far as your connection with your mom.
Oh, yeah.
God bless you with this incredible grandma who really, instill y'all a sense of identity and a sense of worth and purpose. Actually, your grandma did a great job with you and other children. And also, I feel that, this is just nothing but slavery because this is how they did the black family in slavery. They broke up the black family.
Oh yeah. See, my grandmother is a wonderful grandmother. That's what I say. She is one of a kind. Like down there in Mississippi, like you said, this whole family was like they took, it was like a slave family. Like they took them away from us to break us apart. But my grandmother, she stepped right up to the plate and took it with no hesitation. My youngest cousin, Gladys' youngest daughter, she went to the prison in a storm to get her, just for the state wouldn't take her. You know what I'm saying? And because she was born in the prison. And most grandmothers, I hear they wouldn't do nothing like that. They wouldn't have took on this burden. They would have said, get them kids away to the state or spread them across the family one. But my grandmother, she said that we're going to stay together. We're going to keep the family together. And we've been like that all our life. Even before I was going on 3 years old when my mother was wrongfully convicted. And before even then, when my mother wasn't convicted, my grandmother had all of us. She wouldn't even let our mother keep us. My grandma dang near fight it just for us. She wanted us that bad through her whole life. So I said she's a wonderful grandmother. She's one of the grandmothers that you can always depend on and you can always trust on. That's why I know that people on this case are going to help her because of the person she is. I just really know that they're going to help her because of the person she really is, because she's a nice, wonderful person. And all she is really doing is just want her daughters to come home. That's all she really wants.
Let me ask you, how has this case affected you in your view of the law of our law enforcement system or our Just Us system? I call it Just Us system.
Oh, how does it
affect you?
I hate the justice system. I hate it. I really hate it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't want to hate it, but it made me hate it. It messed up my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, how would anybody feel about the justice system if your mother and your auntie was wrongfully convicted and you was at the age of 3 years old? You know what I'm saying? It makes so bad. Like I remember. Like, the only thing I really remember about this whole thing, when I actually remember the day when all this happened, because, see, we were staying in Mississippi, and we were staying in a trailer, and the police came, and they kicked down the door, and me and my little sister, they took everybody out the house, and when they was arresting my mother and them, they had the dogs all out, and it's weird that I remember this. And I was sitting there trying to kick the dog because the dog barking. My grandma ran up. She called me Moon. She was like, Moon, get away from that dog. Get away from that dog before it bites you. And ever since that day, you know what I'm saying, I remember that. I remember how they took my mother away. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, it affected me. I can't stand the law system. I can't stand the justice system just because I know what they can do to you. I know that they can take someone who hasn't done nothing and put them in a situation where they say they done everything. You know what I'm saying? Just throw them away and just act like it was never a key to let them free. Yeah. That's bad. That's bad. When a white
is awful.
Go ahead, Brother Terrance.
It's really bad when a system can do that to you. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. It's unhuman, really. It really is.
Yeah.
It really like and most people they don't know Mississippi. You know, people can say, yeah, I've been to Mississippi, I done went through it. Most people don't know Mississippi. They really don't. Mississippi is a hick town. It is really the country. When we say we lived in the woods, well, honestly, I don't have nothing against white people, but when we say we lived in the woods where the white man ran it, it was true. It was really, really true. It's a point in time where people think that prejudice is not going around. People, you know what I'm saying, they don't discriminate about white and black. Oh, they still do. They just do it under covers now.
Oh, yeah, that's what I call it, Mr. James Crow now.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jim Crow, now we're up into Mr. James Crow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they doing the same thing, except they got on judges' robes and police suits.
Yes, the police and the judges, they working with them.
And the prison complex, I call it the industrial prison complex.
Right.
Because that's what they just building more prison beds, but they're not trying to educate our children.
Mm-hmm.
And they building, they instead of building schools, they building prison beds. Do you know that they build beds according to the statistics of young black boys? If they can't read when they're in the 3rd grade, then they build a prison bed for them. That's how they project how many beds they're going to need.
And see, which
is ridiculous.
Yeah, that really is ridiculous. Why would any human being do something like that? That's why these people up in Mississippi, these judges and these unlawful officers, they are not human. I don't know what to call them. I really don't. But the things they do, it is not human. What makes it so bad is there is more than just my mother and my auntie that have been wrongfully convicted in the state of Mississippi. There's way more. It's just that we were lucky enough to get this case heard. Some people was not lucky enough. Some people that's already in prison for wrongful conviction for nothing, they're gonna die now. And there's no one can do unless people stand up as one together, fight for the cause. If not, they're just gonna sit there on their prison bed and die.
Yes, they are. But that's the same thing, like I said, as Mr. James Crow, Jim Crow, when we had all the slaves. That's how they broke up families during slavery. They didn't care about separating the parents from the children or anything. And now they just found a slick way to do it, like through the courts.
They found the real slick way to do it.
Yeah.
And down there, it is nothing. It is really nothing like I have ever seen before. Like at some points in time, like when I was younger, I never understood, and as I grew, I understand how the state of Mississippi worked. If you don't oblige by the white man's rule, then they're gonna make you basically. It's basically like they telling you, like, if you don't listen to us, we're gonna make you listen to us. If we can't make you listen to us, we're going to make you sit up in this cell until you want to listen to us.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's the whole plan. That is basically what it all really is. And that's just bad. That's just bad when a country has that kind of mind frame set up in their head that they just gonna lock you up, throw away the key, and leave you there to rot.
Yeah.
That's real bad.
I know.
And by the time you get out, if you do make it out, you gonna be done did so much time and done been around them so much, and then they done either beat it in your head or done threaten you to death that when you get out, you ain't gonna push the issue that you was wrongfully convicted. Right. You're not gonna say you just gonna be so happy to get up out of there that you're not gonna try to go back. That's gonna be the whole thing.
But they've been framing a lot of people like they did your mom and your aunt.
Oh yes, they really have.
Yeah,
they really have. I said we lucky that we got this case out. 'Cause I know it is plenty more of them down there that get 30 and 40 years for a simple charge. For some that most people wouldn't get 5, 6, 7 years for.
And no previous criminal record, like in the case of your aunt and your mom. No previous criminal record. I'm gonna ask you this: like, how has this case made you approach your life? I mean, do you see yourself as an activist? I mean, what do you do since you know all this stuff about? I mean, do you go out and you talk to everybody about what's going on with your mom and auntie? I mean, how does this change your life as far as getting involved?
Now that like when we first started with it, you know what I'm saying, I was one of those who wasn't really a believer. I just thought, like, when my girl used to be on the computer, and we used to see her, and we used to just see her on the computer and everything, she'd be telling her what she doing. You know what I'm saying? We knew they was in jail, but we weren't really paying attention to it. We kept telling her, Granny, we is from the country. We is from a low income. You know what I'm saying? Right. We ain't got money to pay television shows and commercials and all that. So I always thought, honestly, that none was never gonna happen. I thought that they was gonna get away with it. But then when it started getting bigger and she started doing little radio talk shows and stuff, that's when I was like, and she asked me to do when we did our first one. We did our first one with Mr. Nat Turner, and that one it was me, my grandmother, my sister Jamise, and my little cousin Courtney. And we did that one, you know what I'm saying? I liked it. I was like, I can actually get on the radio and tell people how I feel about this case and be helping my mother and them at the same time. So I really liked it, but at first, honestly, I didn't really think no one was gonna hear our cry for help, no one was gonna help or nothing. I really did not think that when she used to put the flyers in our book bags and tell us to go pass them out and just post them up on light poles and things like that. I did not really believe that it was going to be heard like this. And now that it's out, I know it can't be stopped.
Right. And the momentum, I mean, everything, the energy. I mean, because, like, you know, it is an unbelievable story, but, you know, anything can happen. If, you know, and to me, it's in human nature to be cruel sometimes to other human beings, because that's why we have laws. Because people were like, you know, always treating people right, we wouldn't need to have a need for laws. But also we need to have laws that are righteous laws and are laws that can and should be enforced. It's not going to necessarily cripple people, but actually enhance the quality of life for people. And, like, you shouldn't be going to jail just because you're poor. And a lot of people are out of jail because they're poor. I think everybody's a political prisoner, even the folks that, quote-unquote, did it, because you never had a fair shake a lot of times. We never had, you know, when we talking about the O.J. trial earlier, we never, you know, you think about the state of Mississippi. I mean, where a white man could kill a black man in the middle of the day in front of a crowded courthouse and still not get brought up on charges. Where you could drag a little kid out who's dead and torture him and throw his body in a river like he's a piece of trash and still not catch hell for that. Where you get shoot a man in front of his driveway, in front of his family for trying to help his people do the right thing and still get a chance to live out your golden years without being bothered by the quote-unquote man. These are problems. And I just think that, you know, when I talk to young people, that's why I think I'm glad to see a brother like you that I know I've been under, you know, horrible circumstances is so enlightened. Now your eyes are open, your mind's eye is open. You can't close it now, man. And so I think it's a duty to educate our other brothers and sisters. It shouldn't take a Hurricane Katrina or FEMA or a lynching or a January 6th or a Scott sister trial to know that we should start helping and loving each other. That we should start being there for each other. And start standing up for each other. And if we need to be, start dying for each other. We need to get back to that.
It's just sometimes people they just don't really understand. That's why when we first got interested into this and we got dragged into it, I liked it. I was like, okay, people gonna get to hear me. You know what I'm saying? They gonna actually hear what I got to say, and everything I got to say is the truth because it's all coming from somebody who done lived through it. This ain't no made up little TV show. I'm sure not no paid actors or nothing to talk on this. This is something that this is real. This is real life. This is in the world today. This ain't nothing that's been recorded. Nothing. This is really in the world, and it's continue to be in the world. And when people actually understand that, then it will be a better place. When they understand that it's people out here that still doing this, having injustice like this, maybe it will finally be put an end to it. Because the state of Mississippi, I can't stand. I love Mississippi. Because, you know what I'm saying, it was my home. But after what happened, you know what I'm saying, how can you love a home that takes your mother from your home? You know what I'm saying? It's no possible way. And just growing up there, I always knew that okay, I'm staying down here. I'm in the country. I love the country because it was free, open space. But at the same time, it would always run through my mind that my mother is locked up in a prison cell due to the fact that the white man said so. That's all it is. It's not because they actually did something. It's because the white man said that they did something. And even if they had committed that robbery, where in the whole world, the whole universe, have you ever heard of someone getting a double life sentence each? Well, I would. That's what I would like to ask.
$11.
Yeah, that's what I would really like. That's what if anyone can answer that question for me, I would be shocked. If someone actually could tell me where else in the world that you done ever heard of somebody getting double life each for alleged armed robbery. Now hold on. That the witnesses testified that they didn't have nothing to do with it. So basically, what this is saying is they went to prison for what a white man said, for what a man said that we just gonna lock them up because we don't like their family. Because of the fact that their family was involved was involved with some other people, and we just don't like them. We don't like the name of their family, and since we can't get their daddy, we gonna get them. We gonna flip the script and just take their life away for the next 20 years. And really, if no one would have pushed this case, I really believe, and if they would have came up for parole in 20 years, they still wouldn't have got out. They would have just denied their parole and just let them on. They would have said, shoot, they've been here 20 years, ain't nobody looked into the case, so why even bother? You know what I'm saying? Because they know if someone was to open this case, a lot of people would be in trouble. A lot of people would be under questioning. A lot of people would be in investigation, and you know what? That's what's really scaring them right now. Because they know they knows what's going on. They know if they when this get out live, they know it's gonna be questions behind it. That why was these girls locked up for this crime that they did not commit? Why was these girls given 2 double life sentences each? Why has these girls served 15 years in prison for something they did not do? Those questions are gonna be asked, and somebody gonna have to be there to face the music and take the consequences forward. And they know that. They really do.
Well, Brother Terrance, I'd like to thank you. I want to wrap it up. I want to help you on with your wonderful grandma. She just did a great job of raising you, and I'm very excited for you and your family because I know some good things are about to happen for you all, and y'all rightfully earned it and deserve it. But I just want to make sure that you just keep yourself prayed up, man, and keep that love in your heart. I know it's easy to get built out here. They want to take your mind, body, and soul from you, but no, love knows no boundaries. Love knows no restraints or constraints, man. Just go with love. And I don't mean like, love with your eyes open and also love with your eyes closed, given a certain situation. But I just want to commend you, man, and I know you're a wonderful role model for your other brothers, sisters, and cousins. So, man, just keep up the great work, and we'll definitely be in touch.
All right, then. Thank you so much. It was nice. It was nice talking to y'all and joining y'all talk show. It really was.
There would be some more opportunities. I think you got a future in yourself, man. I think you should start you one. Cause like I always tell people, the revolution won't be televised, but it will be blog, podcasts, and broadcast online.
Well, I just ask whatever y'all do with this whole little talk show, just please help my mother. Just
right.
She's getting sicker and sicker. You know what I'm saying? On like me, Frank, like my mother been in there all these years, and she is getting sick. My mother been in prison so long. You know what I'm saying? She been in there so long that she dying up in prison. My auntie is losing her mind in prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
and you know what I'm saying? And we actually fighting. That's why I really want people to stay up on it now. Cause see these white folks, they know we fighting against this case. They know it now. You know what I'm saying? They done moved my mama to the medical building. See, my grandma think I'm crazy. They done moved my mama to the medical building. You know what I'm saying? Now they can pop up out of nowhere and say she done died or something done happened to her, and they could be done gave her a shot telling her it was her insulin, but it was a little more than her insulin. You know what I'm saying?
The best way we can keep her alive is by keep on talking about it through outlets like this. And I want you to focus on the positive because it'll take care of it. We can't afford to lose these sisters or anybody right now connected to this case. But what I want you to do is the best way sometimes to hide is to hide in public. We're going to keep this stuff as public as possible. Yeah. And what's the best way for us to find out more updates on the case? Do y'all have a website or anything? I mean, what's the best thing we can do to get the word out and help support you all?
Oh, it's the www.freethescotsisters. I think dot blogspot. It's www.freethescotsisters.blogspot.com.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to send out another email blast. I got that website. I'm just thankful for you all for not giving up and fighting the good fight because y'all going to win it. It took a little bit longer than usual, but y'all going to win it.
We like me personally, I know we're gonna win it. Cause see, when it first blew up, I said, Granny, they coming home. She was like, I don't know. I'll let Granny, ain't nobody ever heard of no case like this in the world. I said, they is coming home. Whether them white folks want to let them loose or not, they coming home. They really is.
Yeah.
That's why I be telling her. That's why I be telling her it's all right. All we gotta do is just hold on a little bit longer, baby.
Right, that's right. You keep on being and be motivate your grandma.
Yeah, I do, cause sometimes she just sits down there and just cries and just wonders about them and everything. I tell her it's gonna be all right. I tell her you ain't gotta worry about no more. They got all the protection in the world now.
Right.
I tell her, them guards or nobody at that prison could touch them if they wanted to, just because they know if they touch them, it's going to be consequences.
That's right.
Because the way this case is now, and everyone knows that it's blowing up, if anything happens to any one of them, that prison going to be held accountable for it.
That's right.
It really is. Yeah. And they got the whole prison. They're going to have that whole prison under investigation. So you know what I'm saying? See, what I think they're gonna try to do though, I think they're gonna try to. I think these white folks gonna try to make it seem like they're gonna let them out, but they're gonna try to let them out on time served. That's what I think they're gonna really try to do. But no, we ain't going for that because y'all done locked them up for 15 years for nothing. We ain't going on no time served. Y'all finna clear their record.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, cause you know what I'm saying? Cause see, white folks they think they slick some of them. Some of them think they real slick. They look at the black man and think that we illiterate, but I ain't illiterate by a long shot. I ain't so by a long shot. And my grandmother, she's not. I'm gonna be straight frank with you. My grandmother might not have all the book sense, but my grandma got the most common sense than any lady in this world. If you just sit down and talk to my grandma, you'll say that woman got a lot of common sense. My grandma is a real soul survivor. She done been through it all. That's why I don't care what can't no one say nothing bad about my grandmother, cause she done went through it all. She done been down the block, around the block. She done hit cartwheels down the street and everything. She done did it all. So can't no one tell me nothing about my grandmother. If anything, my grandmother tell me about herself.
That's right.
And that's just straight up with it.
Well, you know, like the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. I think, you know, Brother Terry, thank you once again. I'm going to get Sister Evelyn on the phone one more time, and we're going to wrap it up. But this show definitely will be available for the public to listen and download on blogtalkradio.com/WeAllBe. And we definitely going to continue the conversation online as well as in the streets. I just want to thank you once again, Brother Terrance, for being the person that you are.
All right, really hold on.
Hello.
Hey, Sister Evelyn, I just want to thank you once again for sharing your story, your passion, your grandson. I mean, y'all some wonderful people. Y'all definitely are in our thoughts and prayers. It's not a question of if, it's only a matter of when.
Okay.
So I really appreciate you for staying strong.
Thank you.
Keep the faith.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, my email is auraqueenb2222@yahoo.com.
Queen B.
Aura.
Is that a B-E?
It's Aura, QUEENBEE 42@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Yeah, please email me. And anything you can do to help, I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm going to try to help any way I can.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you all. Deb, I'm going to make sure I give both of you, I'll make sure I call each one of y'all after the show and give y'all each other's information, respective information. I think it definitely is important to make connections and alliances, and it's something because it's bigger than ourselves. So, in the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you all madly, and hold on and keep the faith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right, Sister
Bye.
Bye.